name's Jeff Benson. I own Cinergy Cinemas and Entertainment. We've got 3 locations down in Texas, and I've been doing this for about 20 years. So I've really actually learned from the best. I came into this, I'm a CPA by trade, and us bean counters don't know much of anything. So I've been fortunate in my career. I partnered with the founder of Cinemark Theaters back in the day, Leroy Mitchell, and obviously Cinemark is a huge company. He taught me a ton, and more recently, I actually hired as our president and CEO Neil Hupfauer. And Neil Hupfauer, as a lot of you guys know, founded Main Event. And so I've learned from the best. Neil is phenomenal. He couldn't be here today, otherwise I'd get his butt up here on screen too, on stage too. But Neil was a big part of designing Cinergy Cinemas. And as Rick said, we've got 3 locations. We've got one down in Copperas Cove, Texas, where we're down there near Fort Hood. It's a 38,000 square foot location. We opened one, that was in 2009. In 2013, we opened one in Midland. Who has been to Midland, Texas? Beautiful, isn't it? It's got to be the prettiest place on earth, I'll tell you. And that's exactly why we went there, because there is absolutely nothing to do. And literally the weekend that we opened Midland, I turned right around and I started looking for a location in Odessa because we just blew the doors off of it. And the story I'm telling here today is about the Odessa location. We opened, well, here we go. So Copperas Cove was 38,000 square feet. Midland, it grew 53,000 square feet. Odessa is 90,000 square feet. 27 million bucks in this one. So this was a 36-month project from start to finish. Started the weekend we opened Midland in October of 2013. Took a year to design it, took a year to finance it. Finally got under construction in 2015. 17 months of construction, people. Let me tell you what, that was painful. It didn't start out with recliner chairs. It was going to be regular stadium seating, so we had change order after change order, $1 million in change orders. 36 months later, we finally open in November 4th, 2016. So what is this thing in Odessa? Let's see if this thing's got a pointer. It does. So it's got 10 screens. It's got a giant kitchen right in the middle. We've got laser tag. We've got a ropes course. We've got a bar with billiards. We've got what we call our Epic screen, which is kind of our version of an IMAX. Got 18 lanes of bowling. We got 3 private party rooms with kind of an open party area out in front. We got what I think is the world's largest redemption store at about 900 square feet. It's huge. And then we got all these kiosks here in the front and these ticket takers, which I'm going to tell you about, because we went cashless in this building. And I don't mean that we don't take your cash. I just mean you have to put it on one of those cards that Rick took so long to adopt to. So this is our concession stand, as you call it, but it's a concession stand, it's a sales counter. More than anything else, it's you know, obviously where you order your food for most of the theaters, and I'm going to get into what we do in one of the special theaters, but a lot of self-service. We figured that the fast food restaurants figured it out a long time ago. Let's quit filling their drinks. Let's let people get what they want. This is a huge kitchen operation, 90,000 feet. We've got 1,100 seats in the theaters. We could seat hundreds and hundreds in the lobby and the bowling, so obviously this is a massive food and beverage operation. And if you're not doing food and you're not doing beverage, you're not going to have any millennials in your business. Let me tell you what, they go to shopping. People go to shopping centers now to be entertained. They do their shopping online. So if they're not going to eat and they're not going to drink, you know, you're in the wrong business, because there's a lot of food to be sold in these places. So this is a picture of our lobby. And please notice all these kiosks over here. We use Intercard, and we got a ticketing system, obviously, for the tickets. And when you walk in the front door, you're greeted by an ambassador. This ambassador is going to give you a handout, and he or she is going to explain how if you've got cash in your pocket, we'd love to take it all, but you've got to step over here to one of these bill breakers, break your bill, and then you're going to put all of your cash on the card. Now, we debated this endlessly, as Derek, my VP of Ops, will get up here in the Q&A in a minute, endlessly for months. Should we do this? This is pretty bold. I mean, we're a $27 million facility and we're not going to take your cash at a register. Let me tell you what, it was the best possible thing we could have ever done. It is a complete non-factor. Everybody comes in, they learn the rules, they play by the rules. We have no over and short. We have no silent partners at the concession stand anymore. It's phenomenal. I would highly recommend it. Obviously, we did boutique bowling. Here's a picture of it. Tell you what, we spent the money, this was at Neil's urging, on the cap lighting. man, what a difference that makes. Very, very cool. But this was not cheap, but it turned out really, really well. I'm going to share our financials with you in a minute. The bowling is a big driver of, obviously, game room sales. I don't think I'm telling anybody any secrets that bowling itself doesn't make a ton of business, doesn't make a ton of money. Eats up a lot of space, but boy does it ever drive the food and beverage, and boy does it ever drive the arcade sales. Because Rick, we're going to do about 3.3 million out of our arcade this year, so it's killing it. Obviously, I don't have to tell you, but bowling and bars and food and beverage all go together with a good bar operation, of which what's funny is when you go into these markets, you never really quite know what you're going to sell. And I would have never thought in Midland, Odessa, that they would be diet fanatics. But Michelob Ultra is our #1 selling beer, and they drink something called a Chilton, which is a vodka soda with a twist of lime. And we sell it by the 50-gallon drum pretty much. So these are our theater seats. Obviously, the big thing in the theater business these days is the recliner chairs. And pretty much for the theaters, it's recline or die. The traditional theater that doesn't have the recliners is going to end up going away in the next 5 years. And so this was one of our first big change orders was to convert over to the recliner chairs. It wasn't designed that way originally when we conceived of this thing 3 years ago, but people love it. I mean, we're all in the business of making people happy and comfortable, and we want them to come back over and over and over. So the recliner chair, we even spent the extra $100 per seat and put a table on every one. It just makes it all the more comfortable for the customers. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So this is where we get really wacky. We did something, we were the first theater in the country to do what's called an order commander. And we installed this little seat side device on between every other chair in our large theater. It's got a credit card swiper on the back end of it. It's got an EMV reader, and the entire menu is available on that little touch screen. So you can sit down at your chair, you can order anything you want, popcorn, candy, burger, pizza, you name it, and then we'll have a food runner bring it directly to you. You swipe your fun card or you put your credit card in it. So this was our version of a dine-in theater without going all the way and doing the wait staff. These weren't cheap. That's a custom swivel bracket that you see there that swivels back and forth. And again, we're just trying to be cutting edge, staying on the edge of technology and on the edge of what we think customers want to come and experience. So obviously we did a ropes course. I did a presentation on these, I guess, at IAPA a year ago. And I would tell you that the zip line for us is a game changer. We've got a regular ropes course without the zip line at one of our other locations. It's kind of burned out over time. The zip line keeps it fresh. I mean, who doesn't want to go flying through the air, over and over and over again? Here's our ginormous redemption store. I went to Andretti's yesterday. They don't have a store. And Eddie's got his reasons as to why he thinks the store isn't right for them. We certainly feel for us that the store is the right way to go. The kids just get to mill around in there for hours. I mean, I've got 2 boys, 11 and 13. They think they've died and gone to heaven when they come here, but they'll spend an hour in that store. Personally, I couldn't imagine trying to do it from a counter, but it's whatever works. You present the merchandise in a beautiful way like I think we have. We partnered with BMI. They do a wonderful job managing this for us. And like I said, the redemption store really pushes the game room sales without a doubt. We did billiards. Frankly, the billiards tables do okay. We're actually, again, trying to stay cutting edge. We're going to go and do escape rooms in this spot in our next one. And so I'm very interested to hear what people have to say about escape rooms. So let me tell you about what this cost and how high stress it was trying to get this thing open. So I've got 13 managers. We hired 402 employees to run this place. We'll stabilize at about 260, but it was a monumental task to staff this place. We doubled our corporate office staff. I've got about 20 people in the corporate office now. I mean, obviously I employ Neil. I got a CFO, a CTO, a director of marketing, a director of construction, all for a theater chain, and I call it a theater chain because I'm just a theater guy by heart, but for just 3 locations. So we're way heavy on corporate overhead. We spent $680,000 on pre-opening expenses and costs to get this thing open. And like I said, construction took 17 months. And believe it or not, they found 4 snakes in our building. Again, if you've been to Midland, Odessa, you've seen it. They actually caught 4 rattlesnakes in the building before we opened. So, high stakes poker here. So the total cost of this thing was $27.1 million. We had 124 field directives because as this thing went on, we had 14 massive change orders. I am the first to tell you we don't know necessarily what we're doing. We're figuring it out as we go because we're breaking new ground with this Cinema Entertainment Center. However, I can tell you that the extra 4 months, because it was supposed to take 13 months to construct, so it was about 4 months longer. We lost about $300,000 a week in revenue. We're going to do about 16.5 to 17 million. So not only did we pay interest on the money for a lot longer, but it cost us $100,000 a week in lost profits. So I'll give you a little bit of the breakdown. The $27 million was $2 million for land. The building cost me $166 a foot, so that was $14.9 million. Soft cost and all that stuff was another $1.6 million. FF&E alone in this monster was $8.5 million, and that was about $1 million more than we thought it was going to be. Switch to the next slide here. Theater and projection, $2.3 million. Bowling, just under $900,000. Laser tag, just under $400,000. Ropes course, $282,000. The kitchen and bar package was $688,000. Furniture and millwork, almost $900,000 worth of millwork in this place and furniture. Computers and AV, just $4,000 more than $1 million, $1,004,000. Arcade games, I spent $1.3 million on that and the card system, and well worth it though. I'll get my money back in about 3 months. Pretty crazy. Signage and other miscellaneous stuff. We even put a generator in this place because who wants to send 4,000 people home on a Saturday afternoon when you get a rainstorm and an electrical storm in Midland, Texas? So that was $200,000 for the generator and the automatic transfer switch. Our best Saturday so far, we've done $137,500 is our best Saturday revenue, and that's on about 4,800 people. And our high day on games has been $34,600 just in the game room on one day. So I couldn't be much happier. So obviously things are coming up green. So far to date, we've been open 3.5 months. We've done $2 million in food and beverage. We've done $1.4 million at the box office. We've done $1.1 million on the arcade game, so they're almost paid off. $300,000 in bowling, and again, that's where I tell you, you put in bowling, but you're putting in bowling to sell food and beverage and arcade games. Keep those people there longer, and they're going to spend more money. It's just that simple. And laser tag and the amusements and the attractions, bowling, billiards and ropes course. What is that? Can't read it. $261,000, I believe. We're going to do about 16.5 to 17 million total revenue for the year. EBITDA is going to run about a third of that. So we should see 5 to 6 million in EBITDA, about 35%. And we'll get a cash-on-cash return of 100% out of this thing. So you just have to be willing to gamble a whole hell of a lot. A whole lot. So obviously I've kind of taken you to space, and now I want to bring you back down to earth. New players like us, and I call us new because the Cinergy concept is relatively new. I mean, we're obviously disruptors, and we're going to take these traditional theaters and the traditional FECs, and we're going to give them a run for their money with new and innovative concepts. This thing cost me $27.1 million. I had to put $4.5 million of our own money into it, and we got a loan for about $22.5 million. So that's all full SBA recourse to me. So there's obviously a whole lot of risk. Takes a big corporate office staff to run one of these things. And the customer service, as Derek will tell you, is second to none, but it's really hard to pull off in a 90,000 square foot facility. Ben asked me to think about a few questions for you guys before we do the Q&A. Like, what do you guys want to get out of my talk? What message am I trying to convey? And I guess I'd tell you that this is not for the faint of heart, obviously. It takes a big checkbook. But today, you got to be different. I went to the Entertainment Experience Evolution Conference a couple weeks ago in Los Angeles, and I will tell you guys, that's the reason I wasn't here last week, so don't schedule it the same as the EEE. But one of the things I learned there is retailers are getting into the food business. Bed Bath & Beyond is putting a food hall in their newest store in New York. So even the retailers are figuring out, you got to feed people when you go shopping at Bed Bath & Beyond. So to me, if retailers they call it a mashup, if retailers are going to be retail mashups, we need to be entertainment mashups. you know, these millennials, they want to be fed and they want to go out and have fun, even though they're going to do all their social media and all their stuff online. They're still social creatures. And I think this, you know, entertainment mashup that is a Cinergy is going to be something that, whether you like it or not, there are copycats out there in Texas doing exactly what we do, and they're all eyeing every major and minor market in the country. So keep your eye on the competition, because whether it's Cinergy or not, I don't know, but it's going to be somebody like us. One of the things you might want to know is, can you do this without the movies? And we ask ourselves that same question. We had a letter of intent to do a site that was just a bowling-only center. And we decided the answer for us as Cinergy was no. We like the foot traffic that the movies drive through this so much that we decided not to do any that don't have the movies. Now, that's a little scary for people that aren't in the movie business, but if you're in the movie business, you understand the risks and you know how many people are going to come through the door, and that's great. And can you do this on a small scale? Well, Neil taught me a couple of years ago the answer is no. It's go big or go home. If you don't build something on a main event type of scale, main event or somebody like him is going to move into your neighborhood. So you've got to compete with them. The kids in all your markets know what a good FEC is. They've been to one in some big city. And if you roll something out that's dinky, it's not going to do what you want it to do. You got to spend the money. You got to befriend your banker, go borrow some, and, you know, go big and get home.